Hi, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to FinextraTV. We're here at Money2020 in Las Vegas. Kindly joining me now is Rodger Desai from Proof. Rodger, thanks for taking the time out of the busy event to come and join us.
Absolutely, Hannah. Thank you for having me.
Really looking forward to speaking with you today because we're touching on a topic that's at the heart of a lot of discussions during Money2020, and that's improving digital transactions. But I first want to talk about that in the context of some of the challenges you're seeing in that space. So what are your customers facing at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's the same issues that customers have always had. They want to do more business more quickly, respecting people's time and their privacy, but also solving for security issues. I think COVID really heightened that as more and more people went online. And now you're dealing with folks around the world, different than the places they normally lived, and how to create that trust to make transactions easy, secure, and private. The challenge has always been there, but I think it's even more heightened because of COVID.
All right, so you've set the scene for us there. So I'm interested to hear a bit more about Proof's approach in this space and why it's different, but also the role of technology in making a more equitable landscape going forward.
Yeah. You know, I think that it's hard serving customers online. The types of attacks keep changing. At first there was just kind of amateurs that would attack, then there's groups of people, now they're nation states that are attacking. And I think it's hard just to kind of, how do you create an easy experience with all that around you? And I think ultimately what I see customers doing is they keep adding more and more solutions to try to solve problems, and that creates more and more complexity. The thing that to us is the thing that kind of shines through is accuracy. How can you be accurate about delineating the good from the questionable? In our view, 98% of transactions with humans behind them are legitimate. And so in an ideal world, 98% of transactions would be easy, secure, quick, and you'd be able to kind of sequester the 2% that are questionable. The realities will never be at 98%, but how can we get as close as possible? At Proof, we focus on that. We believe most things are good, so we try to help give banks, merchants, everyone we work with the confidence to say yes to more transactions.
All right, so in that context, I think there's a lot of discussion around where crypto fits in, so I'm interested to hear more about that, but what are you doing in the crypto space as well at Proof?
Yeah, the same things we do for banks, help people open accounts easily, help people to log in, to do high-risk transactions. I think what crypto is highlighting is a trend toward even more difficult transactions to be comfortable with. When you buy a pair of shoes and you ship them to your home address, well, you can make sure that the ship to and the bill to are the same. But when you're buying a digital asset, it's just a very strange high-risk transaction. For example, the first transaction on a crypto exchange could be buying $1,000 of Ethereum. That's a very unusual transaction. And when things are unusual, banks tend to decline those transactions, but yet it's legitimate. So how do you give this entire ecosystem the comfort of knowing this is a good transaction? Years ago, you wouldn't imagine someone doing something that high risk that early in the relationship with a merchant or a crypto exchange. But that's pretty commonplace now.
All right, that's really interesting. So what's next looking forward then, and how is the technology, especially at Proof, evolving?
One thing we really kind of pioneered is, to us, there's already been kind of a proxy, an example that we can look to of where the world should go. And that's just using your phone. You can take your phone anywhere in the world, and it just works. Like, you don't have to identify who you are. It's typically in a different currency. So it's secure, private, easy, all at the same time, without making kind of compromises one over the other. That's not the state of the web. The web is, if it's secure, it's not easy to use, and then maybe not private. So in some ways we have a proxy. We should make everything online as easy to do as making a phone call. And what Proof is really trying to pioneer is to make it so that we can be deterministic and accurate using the way we do authentication. Rather than guessing like, well, Hannah typically buys a cup of coffee every morning at Starbucks, therefore we can be comfortable with that transaction. How do you get comfortable with a transaction that, out of the blue, buying $1,000 of Ethereum or an NFT or a digital asset? So we want to make it just as easy as making a phone call. So in addition, one important factor is inclusion. We want to make sure that everyone participates in the digital economy. It shouldn't be reserved for people that have a smartphone and live in the West. I was involved in a project early in my career where we gave villagers phones, and we saw the huge societal impact that had in connecting them to the larger economy. To us, as countries are issuing out digital identities and paper identities, I think we should also be issuing people phone numbers. I think that's a way to kind of include them into the larger context. So at Prove, that's a very important part of how we do things.
It's really interesting to hear about the work you're doing at Prove, and it's safe to say watch this space. Rodger, thank you so much for sharing your insights, and I'll let you get back to the event. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anna.